Hey guys, I don't usually do this, but today's a special occasion. This is my first spring video of the year, as well as my very first one-on-one collaboration. This collaboration is for the birds, and it's with my good friend Kathy Jo from Kathy Jo DIYs. If by some crazy chance you haven't heard of Kathy Jo, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, I will leave a link to her video in this collab down in the description box, as well as a link to her channel, so you should go check those out. We are doing spring themed crafts centered around birds, so our crafts will have birds in them or be inspired by birds, but I hope you like it. Let's get to crafting. Okay, for this one you'll need some cardboard, and I cut out 2 identical circles, just using this old coaster as a template. I glued the 2 together. One layer of cardboard just didn't seem thick enough for this. I have this old book that I've been using the pages out of for ages now, and I wanted all the bottoms and edges of the pages for the majority of this little house. I'm just gonna Mod Podge this on there. When Kathy Jo suggested that we do this, I got really excited, and then I immediately thought, oh no, like I'm gonna have to get in front of the camera, because usually when people do collaborations, I hardly ever see someone not get in front of the camera for a collaboration. So I'm still, even though I'm 3 years in, I feel like I'm still learning some of this stuff, and it almost felt like YouTube etiquette to get in front of the camera for a collab, but it went okay. I wanted the outside walls to be mostly blank, but I wanted the top to be word heavy, and so on the roof I did like whole paragraphs on there so it would look the same and that all the words went in the same direction. I used a hole punch and punched some little circles out from some of those book pages. I'm using some straight pins here with little pearls on the top, and I'm going to make some flowers for the outside around the little birdhouse. If I sound more nasally than usual, it's because I'm still getting over a cold, so I apologize for that. To give some variation in look to the flowers, I bent some of the straight pins, so some would be pointing straight up and some the head would be bent. I felt like the silver on the straight pins stood out in not a good way, and so I painted over those with some ivory. I made sure to sand off the edges every time I Mod Podged some paper on the little birdhouse to make sure that the edges were nice and smooth and had a nice finished look to them. I cut some flower petals out of some of the book pages. The opening to the birdhouse will be the center of the flower. I felt like the flower wasn't standing out enough on the front of it, and I sort of regret this decision, but it turned out okay. I darkened the edges of each of the flower petals as well as the stem that I'll make soon here with some ink, some brown ink, so that the flower would stand out and not, sort of fade into the surrounding on the front of the birdhouse. That nail file wasn't quite doing the job, so I cut down a sponge sander that I got from Dollar Tree to get into the little areas. For the little bird's address marker, I just took one of the book page numbers and Mod Podged that above the flower there. On the sort of blank spaces, I decided to stick on a few little phrases that I found just mixed in with the book pages. I decided to give the birdhouse a chimney, and I just took a glue stick and cut that down, making sure to slant one end so that it would go along the roof line there. And I covered that in paper, and how I attached the paper is I just used the end of the glue gun where it was hot, and it just melted that glue just a little bit so I could wrap that and it would stick to the glue stick. I used a bread tie to be the center of the smoke coming out of the chimney there, just for some stability. And I just sandwiched that in between some paper to be the smoke coming out of the chimney. And I had it be pretty big at first, and then I realized it was a little too tall, so I cut that down later. Now to cover the base of the bird cage that the little bird house will sit in. Once I had that all covered in pieces of book page, I went ahead and made a little template to help me figure out how I wanted the holes. I'm going to put some wire in these holes to make the bird cage. And so I just made a little template and figured out before I went to punching holes in the base that I made, I wanted to have a plan. So I just used that little template to plan out where I wanted to punch the holes for the wire to go through. I got this wire from Walmart, and it's thick enough that it'll stand up pretty well, but it's still easily bendable by hand. I just secured that underneath the bird cage with some masking tape, and then I'll go over that masking tape and cover it up with more book pages with Mod Podge. I tied those wires together at the top with some twine and added a little dot of hot glue for good measure. And then I painted as a base coat, I painted the wire with ivory chalk paint, and then I went over that with toasted marshmallow by Apple Barrel because that matched the book pages a little bit better. I used a dowel cap that I had stained previously with some antique wax as the topper for this bird cage. And then I just stabbed the flowers because they are straight pins. I just stabbed them into the base there, and they were very secure. This is just a quick reminder that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you click the notification bell, YouTube will notify you when I upload a new video. For this one, I have this splatter screen from the Dollar Tree. It had a handle in the middle that I already removed, and because there was a handle there, it left a hole in the screen in the very center. And I'm just going to sandwich this little wood round and this little wooden laser cut decorative thing from the Dollar Tree here that looks like a flower. I'm going to sandwich some wood glue and hot glue in between those, and that will secure that, that hole to where it won't get any bigger. This will be outside, so I made sure that my wood glue is indoor-outdoor wood glue so that the hold will still hold up even outdoors. I thought I had a hanging chain from the Dollar Tree. They sell these by themselves, but I couldn't find it. So I just took the hanging chain off of this hanging wire basket here from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to be using the chain and the little hook to hang it with. And I used that basket where they had the chain hung to just sort of guide me to where I should put the holes for the chain. My Crocodile Big Bite went through that mesh there, very well. After I got that attached, I just took it outside and gave it a couple of coats of champagne bronze from Rust-Oleum, and then made sure to top that off with a clear coat because this will be outside. You can buy mesh bird feeders like this, and I could put seeds on it, but the reason I made this is we have platform bird feeders made out of mesh, sort of like this, that you can put more than just bird seed on, because you can feed birds other natural things, fruits and vegetables, mealworms, other things that maybe you couldn't put in a bird feeder that's made for seed. And so this is a good, thing. I've been wanting one of these, and I thought, well, I might as well just make one. The neat thing is that the articles were saying that the birds will keep this clean. Anything that they don't want, they'll toss off because they're natural, they keep things clean naturally. It's like in their nature. And so anything that I put on there that they might not be too fond of, they'll just toss it off the side. For this one, I have this wreath here that I've had for a while that I thrifted. And I'm going to cover just the bottom in some moss from the Dollar Tree. Took some wire and secured this branch, and I also added some hot glue on top of that. And I covered the wire in moss so it wouldn't show. I took some Spanish moss from the Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna mix some Mod Podge in there with it and make a little stiff nest. I ended up cutting that nest in half. I thought it looked best. Instead of having it flat, I wanted it to look sort of like it was sitting on that branch. This will be a printable in the description box if you're interested, and I just printed these out on some cardstock. Now, if you were going to put this wreath outside, I'll be putting mine indoors, but if you were going to put it outside, you would want to laminate these little birds. I was going to leave it plain, but I decided to add these roses to it just for a little something extra.
Oh, I packed up all my troubles, I'm all through blowing bubbles, like a bird that's on a wing, I'm winging home. All the friends I made were cold ones, I wanna see the old ones, like a bird that's on a wing, I'm winging home. It's been so cloudy, but I got wise, I'm saying howdy to the sunny skies. down among those fall-leaf clovers. It's nesting time for the rovers, like a bird that's on a wing, I'm winging home.
This one's very quick and easy. I have this little crate from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to make another nest, but just a little bit smaller than the last one. Anytime I find a pretty feather outside, I save it for crafts. You just never know. I got this graphic of a bird off of thegraphicsfairy.com. I cut that down after printing it on some cardstock. I did go over the edges with some more of that brown ink just to sort of frame it out and so you couldn't see the white cut edges of that cardstock. I hot glued the nest in the bottom of the crate, and I have these two rocks from the Dollar Tree that I painted to look like eggs, and I just hot glued those in the nest. That's it for this one. Don't forget to go check out Kathy Jo's video and see what she made. She is a blessing to more people than she even knows about. She has the kindest heart. I know if I had a question about this crazy YouTube stuff, or if I needed help with something, she would help in any way she could. She has always been supportive of other crafters when she doesn't have to be. She's a talented crafter, and you won't regret going and checking out her videos. And if you're here from Kathy Jo's channel, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.